Millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people.
You cannot shake hands with a clenched fist.
Produced by a nuclear exchange would be carried by wind and water and soil and seed to the far corners of the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We're not saying that planet Earth is coming to an end. We're saying that planet Earth is about to be refurbished, spaded under, and have another chance to serve as a garden for another civilization.
Most of the people in here are just your reflections. They're your mistakes.
1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms.
1 million of the planet's 8 million species are threatened.
You are what you repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence ought to be a habit, not an act.
Your lives and the credibility of the United Nations is at stake.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
The reason this is such an interesting time is not only because we're on the threshold of the end of this civilization.
They're trying to take you out with bullshit.
The experience of the past 2 years has proven beyond doubt that no nation can appease the Nazis.
To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish.
In the language of the U.S. Department of Defense, these are unidentified aerial phenomena.
Roswell's a very interesting place with a lot of people that would like to know what's going on.
There is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone.
This is the Garden of Doom.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Garden of Doom presents the Book of Black, and I think this just might be the Epic of Tyrus, because our guest this week is, you know him as Tyrus, former NWA champion. I'm sure you know him as Broadus Clay if you're just one of those WWE heads. But if not, you know him from Fox News, from Fox Nation. He's a best-selling author, maybe 2 times over by now.
2 times.
Yep, 2 times over best-selling. So he's lapped me. And of course, my usual co-host, or maybe I'm his co-host, Dr. P.J. Black. How are you, Justin?
I'm doing fantastic. I just want to say quick, Tyrus, thank you so much for doing this, man. I know you...
All you got to do is call me.
Yes, sir. I know we go way back, and I know your time is limited, so we'll get straight into this. So this podcast we've been doing is about occult stuff that people are interested in. I know you chose the topic of the Megalodon, which I don't know too much about. I know.
What are you talking about? Okay. Let me tell y'all something about this dude. He plays like he's modestly dumb. Sometimes he's not. He doesn't know anything about sharks. He took half the WWE roster. Well, no. Half said they'd go, about a quarter went. We went to Africa. He took us to his hometown, and he took us to swim with sharks. And not just any sharks, great white sharks. And up until recently, until about 5 days ago, I was having a hard time proving myself to be cool to my daughter who's watching me right now. And I said, I swam with great white sharks, I'll have you know. And she didn't believe me. And I even told her. And Uncle PJ jumped in the ocean and swam down in sharks-infested water and came out with excuse me, a megalodon fossilized tooth, which I have to this day. So that's why it made me think about it. But if you want to talk about occults, we can go all day because we live in a very culty time right now. So I think, but you can make Megalodon a worship of a cult. We could have a Megalodon cult. We could start it right here, right now. We've got enough guys to start.
I'm down.
You just need a lot of friends with wives.
I got a wife.
Yeah, because that's how it starts. Cults are great in the beginning. Everybody moves in together. It's kumbaya. Things are going together. You get your own businesses. Everyone's under the light. And then your guru decides he's got to diddle everyone's wife. And that's when everything goes to hell. Mm-hmm. If you look at every one of the great occults that started, it's always the same thing. If guys don't diddle other guys' wives, the cults would be great.
So tell us what you know about the Megalodon. Like what do the movies like depict it pretty accurately, or is there some more to the story?
So, based off my time underwater with PJ, by the way, we broke a bunch of rules that day too, but it's like, don't touch the shark. And I was like, I was at a point in my life where I wanted to touch the shark.
Listen, man, everyone touches the turtles in Hawaii. Everyone touches the dolphins in the Caribbean. It's
not a lot of people touch the great white sharks in South Africa, but
yeah, but you're Tyrus. You're as big
I was
as a
ready
great
to
white
go.
shark.
I was at that point in my life. Wouldn't have been a bad way to go out. Like, oh man, he wrestled a great white. He did the job, so nothing new there. But so Megalodons recently. This is why I was hyped on it. I watch nature stuff all the time. I mean, PJ was on Shark Week. So again, he tries to play dumb like he doesn't know anything about sharks. But there was a sighting of what could be construed as, if not a megalodon, some other subspecies of great white shark was seen in a feeding frenzy where there was great whites everywhere, and up underneath that came swimming up from the depths, almost double the size of the other great whites, which they all moved out of the way, looked like a great white, but his fins were significantly longer, different cut, was clearly a different species of a thing, so which got all this hype about megalodon stuff going on. But most likely they're extinct. They were huge species, but we're just finding out, like sperm whales swim at the bottom of the ocean for hours at a time, and they're eating things the size of them. So there is stuff down there for them to live off of. But I would think we would have probably seen a sighting. But we find tooths and bones all the time. That's the problem with sharks. You only get bones through their teeth. So, but it's cool because the ocean is we know more about the moon and the ocean, and that couldn't be more true. They talk about aliens. I think they've already been here. They just hit the water. They didn't waste their time on the land. I mean, we've just found out octopuses aren't really from here. Their DNA was on a meteor. So we're finding more out of space in the bottom of the ocean, and I think we've just scratched the surface of what's.
Wait. Let's get back to that octopus DNA from a meteor thing.
Yeah,
because they're
visitors. Yeah.
I love the octopus.
Here. They're from another planet.
That is fantastic.
An asteroid. We don't know where. So we got lucky. Instead of we didn't get see no evils, we got really cute, cool things to do tricks and can slide. I mean, they're pretty amazing. Considering their intelligence and stuff. If you don't know anything about octopuses, check out there's a great documentary called My Octopus Teacher. I recommend it to anybody.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. The ocean itself is we learn so much from it all the time. The only thing I fear is that overfishing and pollution from places like China and India and Japan will really hurt what we could be learning from the ocean right now.
Oh, you're 100% right about that. I've done shows on the law of the sea on Garden Views about that, and you're absolutely right. The fun thing, one fun thing about the octopus, one, they like throwing things at other octopus and other fish they don't like, including female octopuses throw stuff at male octopuses to get rid of them. The other thing is, I actually gave this as, I don't know, I mean, knowing the two of you, I don't really know you, Tyrus, but given your interest.
No one really knows me. I'm sort of an enigma.
No, that's fine too. But have both of you or either of you heard of Professor Robert Temple?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Okay, yeah. He wrote the Sirius. Anyway, he's been on the show, and I just spoke to him yesterday, and I gave him a homework assignment about a year ago to look into the unique properties of the octopus. So it's amazing that you just brought it up, and that's one of the topics he has.
Well, with PJ, he's going to bring energies together. That's what PJ does. He's a beacon of energy.
He's my little, my not little, but Merkaba, my tetrahedron. So yeah, but I think you're right. I mean, first, you're right. We only know about 5% of the ocean, and I don't think that's including the trenches and underwater tunnels that lead to subterranean oceans as well. And there could be megalodons or other things living out. There's all sorts of. We're finding a new species all the time down there, and there is plenty of food down there for them to survive upon, or something. Maybe it's not a megalodon, but there's 5 species that survived all major extinction events: the tardigrade, the horseshoe crab, the scorpion, crocodilians, and sharks.
Yeah, and they'll be here after we're gone. They just found, I mean, it's crazy. The bottom of the ocean, they just, the entire way that we think life works on this planet, we just found out is wrong. So because they have plants that are growing at the bottom of the ocean, which without sunlight should be impossible. So we're finding out even more about the bottom of the ocean and how life works. Some of the ancient oceans in Antarctica, they just discovered that single-celled individual that can live anywhere under any circumstances. So life's everywhere. It's just we need to stop looking up in the stars and start looking around us. It would probably behoove us in the short term.
I don't know if you guys can remember this story. A few years ago, there was a scientist I followed, and what's that guy's name? David Attenborough. Remember when he went down?
Sir David Attenborough.
Sir David Attenborough. Remember he went down the ocean with that little bubble submarine thing. So the scientist who invented that, I can't remember his name right now, but he's been studying that for years. And he went down, I don't know where he went down, but he saw a bubble. And he went into the bubble and it was dry. And he was miles and miles and miles down the ocean. So he got really scared. So he pulled out, he went back, pulled up the data and stuff like that, started telling people. And it was kind of like, it sounded like, like in the Marvel movie in Atlantis where Aquaman into the bubble. And that's what it sounded like. And he had some footage too. I have recently tried to look for this footage and I cannot find it anywhere. It's like they've scrapped it from the internet completely. This happens a lot lately. But it was very interesting. And there were a few other people who saw the same thing. But nobody talks about it because it's kind of confusing, right? It's like, how can there be dry land under the ocean? Or how can there be no water or a bubble? Or I don't even know what you would call it. But
they're called airlocks. We have them in submarines and stuff. So, you would just need to find someplace where there's a high pressure amount of gas coming out from the depths of the earth into the water, and there's 70% water coverage.
Well, sometimes you see that also at the bottom of the ocean where you'll see levels of salt where the water is consistently thicker. And there's these pits of just gas and salt. And a fish swims through it, he's got about 30 seconds to get out of it or he's done. So what we're seeing is that what's coming at the bottom, there's another layer. Everything's layers and levels, but there's a surface of the earth that we have not seen yet or explored yet. And it's great. Funny you mentioned that because I was looking for that Megalodon footage ever since it came out and I can't find it anymore. So then again, we live in a time of feelings and control. And so it's not surprising that the internet is not what we thought it was at this point.
Oh yeah, we're definitely at an inflection point in time where all the stuff is about to change. It can either go the other way or go.
It's either facts or feelings. There's two things. You got feelings and facts, and people feel like that's dangerous. When people stick to facts, that's usually a good thing because everyone has feelings. That doesn't mean that they're real. They're just feelings. But yeah,
I've studied those
information that just looking for today, looking for stuff to go over to talk about today. It was just funny how everything is kind of pushed back. If you type shark, they send you to Shark Week. You type this, you're asking scientific questions. You no longer get phylums. You get a Wikipedia or you get a TV show. And that in itself is something to look at where they're dumbing down people. Like people used to be like, I'm old school. Like if I broke up a Encyclopedia Britannica and I had to flip through that. But when I got to sharks, I would get all the factual information about sharks, not people telling me what's it like to be around sharks. So I think information is definitely, whether it's something as small and minuscule as looking up to see if an animal still exists or a bubble, opposed to actual political things going on in our country, to get just a straight factual story. I don't think the internet's in anymore. I think you got to go old school. I think you got to do the work. You got to go to the library. You got to get books. I think books are going to come back in a big way because at least then you can choose whether you're going to be influenced or not. You'll see the author. You'll see a synopsis before you get into it. But the internet is definitely a dangerous time right now for looking for information because you could be pushing a lot of misinformation.
I've noticed that too, and especially when you Google something, what you're looking for is never on the first page. You have to really go dig for it to find what you're looking for, which makes life very hard for the stuff that we're trying to do. But I think it's very important for the future of our kids. We got to teach them, like you said, books is probably going to make a big comeback. Libraries should come back, but I mean, who really does that? I mean, do your kids go to the library? Do they even know?
Well, no, but my kids are lucky that dad brings home lots of books. I'm a book guy, former teacher. So I'm a big fan in patiently watching my kids go through hardships close enough to where if something goes wrong, I can jump in, but enough for them to get their own experience. Unfortunately, the days of hopping on your bike in the United States and taking off with your buddies all day when you're 6 to 12 years old, those aren't possible anymore. But so a lot of the stuff that you have to do is you got to be hands-on as a parent. But old school works. It does work. Matter of fact, I was teasing my daughter today because her mom bought her a calendar to plan her month in because she's got equestrian practice, soccer practice. I'm like, you need to make a chart. And we didn't punch it on her phone. And she had to get her calendar book out. And she's having a blast. And then she got to where she was trying to tell me what my day, like she was trying to plan ahead. Like, okay, Dad, September 16th, what are you going to be doing that day so I can write it in? What are we doing? So, and then next thing you know, she planned out 3 months of her activities and she was so proud of herself. So, and she wrote it out and all the good things. And then she was like, hey, Dad, what's a fax machine number? I'm like, oh, you don't have to worry about that, honey. But it's when you make them have to go through the process and ask questions. And then I had to explain what a fax machine was. And I said, well, we have emails now. We're kind of do like fax machines. And then you go through that whole rabbit hole of how we get there. And I like that as a parent. When the kids are asking questions, it's always fun. But you can't get there if you're both staring at a tablet. And the tablet gives her an answer. What's a fact? Oh, this is this. She had to look up. She had to ask. Nobody, and so we don't do a lot of technology in my house. Trial and error, just like any other parent. We just realized that I noticed that when my kids don't have the babysitter, they're way more attentive. They're way more interested in things. They like being outside, sitting on 12 acres go outside. You're not playing. You're not sitting inside all day. And my kids are out running around, and they're all about as brown as can be this summer because it's all outdoors. And I think more people should get back to that but here's the deal. You got to work. You got to answer the questions, which means I can't be on social media. You know what I'm saying? So it's more about parents. How much are parents willing to put into it? Because with kids, you get what you put into it. 1,000%.
Well, yeah, it's a weird time right now too to raise kids. It's like, remember when we were kids, you couldn't look something up on the Google on the phone. You had to go to the library, go find the encyclopedia, and look up whatever you wanted.
And the bad guys, like the bad guys, had to sit in a van and offer you candy. Now they just disguise themselves as a 13-year-old, play Fortnite with you until they get you close enough to meet them somewhere at a McDonald's. So the game has changed. So that's why. More just protect my kids. We play Fortnite and stuff, but Dad has to do it with them. And everything has to be controlled and nothing online, no people we don't know. Like, it's just, you have to be that way. You have to be vigilant that way because all it takes is one afternoon with a groomer and your child will be changed forever. And you'll be kicking yourself because you were taking pictures of your salad to send to your high school buddy on Facebook instead of paying attention to what's going around kids. So it's something that in our household we take very seriously, especially given our line of work being in entertainment and stuff like that. We are more of a target. People know more about you than you think they do, especially like when if somebody sees you. And I don't know if nothing bothers PJ very much, but I used to hate it when guys that tried to be like, hey, tried to call me my government name like they knew me. Like, hey, what up, George? And I'd be like, what? Like, you don't know me. Like, stop. Like, you're here to see Broadus Clay. Relax, okay? I get it. You looked on Wikipedia. High five. But that's one of the things that bothers me a little bit. But other than that, not too much bothers me. But you just gotta keep everybody at arm's length and just check them out because good people are hard to find. But when you find them, you hold on to them.
All right. Well, I think reading is actually very important at a young age to develop critical thinking, learn things like symbolism and metaphor, and just learn how to read different forms of English from different time periods. It just your brain gets wired in a different way.
Well, you become intuitive, and you question everything, which is good. You don't want to solve.
I'm going to say that. No, I'm kidding. I love seeing when the light goes on my kids when they figure something out. It's the coolest thing when they put one-to-one together, and it's so hard not to be like, oh, nope. You'll figure it out. And it's hard because sometimes as a parent, you get selfish and think about your stuff. But like once I took the responsibility of being a active, participating, full-time dad, you got to put your stuff in the back. That's the toughest thing for guys, especially if you're an athlete and building your career. And sometimes it's tough when you try to balance everything, but you have to. That's one of the reasons why I retired last year was
my kids had all these events, and they were like, "Hey, Dad, we'd rather have you at our events than miss you with wrestling." So I was like, "Is that what you want?" I'm the champ, and they're like, "We'd rather have you at the game." So it was an easy decision once they voted. It was unanimous. So I was like, "Well, I guess that's it. So much for me having fun." But but it's a thing. Like I never would have done it 5 years ago. I'd have been like, "You're crazy. You're out of your mind." But it's funny what matters, and I don't miss the ring as much as I miss the locker room, because the locker rooms that I had the privilege to be a part of, we form bonds for life. We don't have to talk for years, but it's like we never miss. PJ and I have been buddies since I still remember our first conversation. I walked in the gym, and I'm a big imposing dude, and I was sitting in the ring. I was one of my first days working out, and at that time, he was a glorious angel. He was an angelic angel with wings that all the women in Tampa went crazy over. And first thing he says to me, he's like, "Hey, you just don't get a title shot, bro." And I was like, "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Broadus or whatever, G.o.D or whatever the hell the name was at the time." But ever since then, we're as thick as thieves, And he's just like you'll never see him mad. I've never seen him mad. I've seen him whoop somebody's ass with a smile on his face. I enjoy that because I'm the same way. I always respect a man who's in control of his emotions is a dude you can count on when things get in. And I don't think I've ever seen PJ lose his cool. He literally had a guy pass out accidentally, we'll say, in a match, and PJ still helped the guy get over. The guy didn't even know he won. They're like raising his hand. He's looking around like, what's going on? So that's PJ in a nutshell. But, you build those bonds, man. They just last forever. And as we get older, it gets cooler because when we run at each other, it's like, it's like you were kids when you're wrestling. When guys, we're like big kids in the locker room. We tease and lift weights and do our thing. And then later in life, when we become these wise men, then we meet, we go back to being kids again for a little bit. So it's a really cool thing. And you see it, like whenever you see the old school guys, like you ever get lucky enough to be in a room to see like Haku and Hacksaw Jim Duggan come in the room with some of the other old school guys, and you see them talk and laugh, and it's cool to see that our generation is now that group, except we're lucky to where most of us don't have to wrestle until we're 60 years old, because the guys that laid the tracks before us were able to turn our wrestling career into other things and use them as platforms, which is great. I wish those guys had those opportunities because they're really funny, talented guys. We just don't, they had to get real jobs once their body said no more.
Yeah. I don't really want to get too much into that because then we go down a road that's a little bit darker. In some cases, I mean, there's also redemption stories and happy stories there as well.
Yeah, but I always think it always pisses me off when people talk about dark side of wrestling. Guys in wrestling are no different than guys in boxing, football, or any other major sport. Guys get cut, doesn't work out, life goes on, and sometimes they don't reach heights of stardom again. But a guy also wrestled, he was in the limelight, and then career's over and he gets a job, a regular job, like a regular person, real estate or whatever it is, does it at a high level and takes care of his family. And I'll hear someone like, "Oh man, he really fell off." I'm like, you know what the hell you talking about?
Yeah.
That's not how life works. And I'll never do any of these dark side of the ring shows. My answer to all of them is kiss my ass. First of all, the bad times, it's none of your damn business. Number one, you didn't earn the right to be there. I won't even share fun stories with people who didn't earn the right to be in that locker room. But they're always trying to exploit the old guys, and it's like, and they always have the wrong people talking about them. They have people who didn't even know them who are talking about them. It's like, it's an absolute joke because most of the time those guys bent over backwards to take care of each other. They protected each other, maybe sometimes too much. Perfect example. Hacksaw Jim Duggan tore his Achilles ankle when he was the king, when him and Haku were feuding for the king of the wrestling, with that awesome purple crown and stuff. And if he would have said I couldn't go, somebody would have took his spot and he wouldn't have had a job. Haku carried him for a year. They worked all over the country. No one ever knew he was messed up because the boys took care of each other. They always took care of each other and always protected each other. Those are the stories we should be hearing about. Somebody falls in their hard time. That's every day in America. You don't have to be a wrestler to have a drug problem. You don't have to be a wrestler to have a bad marriage. You don't have to be a wrestler to lose your job and have to start over. So I don't even get me, because I think, and I also think it's like a marky thing to feel like you're a part of it because you know some skeletons in a closet, but that's not why people do what they do. The reason why they put their bodies through hell is to feed their families, is to take care of each other. So like I said, I just have no place for it. Whenever I hear like, oh, you remember this? I'm like, kiss my ass, bro. Like, that's like following Arnold Schwarzenegger around after the Terminator, asking him why there's not a Terminator 7, like, let it go, man.
Now we're grown up and we talk about conspiracies and occult stuff.
Yes. Yes.
That's right. And giant dinosaur
I'm all for a cult. I'll start a cult tomorrow. But the problem is, I just don't know, will I have the same problem as all the other cult leaders? Like, they get to that point, and then the guys who helped build they start diddling their wives, and then, of course, murder. And then, of course, underage. Then one of the wives happens to be underage, and then the whole thing tears down. So cults got to figure it out. And there's been some good documentaries. I've been watching some wild ones just out there. You could start a cult, PJ.
Oh, I've been thinking about it. But there's a difference between cult and the occult. Cult is like a brotherhood, I guess, like wrestling, right? Like where it's like
no. I'm talking about cult. You're talking about cult like
a cult, like
I'm talking about religious
stuff.
Leaders, which is a cult. Yeah.
Well, you can blend the two.
Well, you have to. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah, you need
you can't have a cult
mystery.
without a cult of worship.
Yeah, of course. And PJ can absolutely do it.
You got to have it. Like I said, you got to at least have something to. You're not going to convince everyone to drink the Kool-Aid if there's not a spaceship with a famous dead celebrity going to fly you guys off to Valhalla.
Let's start a cult right now. What are we going to start? The Brotherhood of Black.
Yeah, for obvious reasons.
The land of Megalodon.
The land of the Megalodon.
Well, we might have some trademark issues with that one. I think I like that. I like that. We'll go with the black cult. And our occult creature would be
the Megalodon.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Because we're gonna fly a giant Megalodon to Valhalla for those who are worthy. So we'll just should we go to the net and open up signups, see what we got? Let's have tryouts. Gotta be tryouts.
And by the way, we don't care about trademark because this cult religion is not subject to the laws of any one country or state. Yeah, we're a sovereign citizen type of thing with religious exemptions.
Oh, I love. See, we're on our way.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you feel about wearing goat horns?
Very good.
Okay, well, there you go. You're our high priest. See how that works?
Yeah.
Promoted on your first day.
This is the best job I've ever had.
PJ, we're going to have to shave. You're going to have to be handsome because you got to bring them in, bro. We're going to have to drop you off in some places. You have to oil up, and you're going to have to attract the flocks. You're going to have to be the face. You're the face.
I can do that. I can do that.
Security, and I'll drive the truck. But you're gonna have to be the one to bring them in. We're gonna have to bring. You know what? The angel gimmick works here.
There you go.
You love the wings. I love the jacket.
Just an angel can come back. Hey, we were talking right now. I was just asking AI to draw up a picture of a megalodon, and it just drew a bunch of pictures of gerbils. I'm not going to send to you.
How about an angelic megalodon?
Angelic megalodon. Let me play around with that a little bit more.
Be Jabberjaw with wings. You guys all
it's also interesting the AI stuff these days, right? But like you said, like the internet.
Well, they had Asian.
Like, who's feeding these things? Who are feeding these machine learning things, right? Like I feel like our kids are completely fried because like none of the history.
Well, they're not machines learning things. They're people with agendas running machines. So they always say AI. No, it's the guy who's programming AI that's the jerk. He's putting his personal influences on there. That's why they decided to have like somebody typed in Nazi and they came up with Asian and black Nazi soldiers. Like they just don't get it. You're not looking them up because you want to join. You're looking up historical information to what actually happened in the past, with the idea being you learn about it so you don't recreate it. But instead they woke it up and made it like they missed the whole point of what it is to look for information. You don't look for information to be influenced by what they think you want. You just facts. Just send me the actual picture of what, which again, nobody should be like, hey, I'm going to look up Nazis today. If you do, you got some issues. But what I'm saying is that when you do look up that type of information, it should be the accurate information, not whoever decided that, I'm not comfortable with that, so I want to make it this way or that way. And that's not how information is supposed to work.
I sent you guys the picture in the chat of the Megalodon.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, let's take a look at this.
I'm getting real good at all this AI stuff, and we'll maybe do a whole episode on that one day while we do like live generated stuff while we talk about certain things. I'm very curious to see how it would generate occult stuff and secret symbolism and brotherhoods and stuff like that. But anyway, we have like 10 minutes left on this, Tyrus. I want to be respectful of your time, man. I appreciate you doing this, and once this thing gets rolling, we'll get you on. I know you're a vast.
Well, let's do this because I have a show on Outkick called Maintaining with Tyrus. Does pretty well. I would love to have you guys on, and we'll do like a couple of. I'll check on you guys. You check on me. Things we can do a little cross promotion. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Sounds awesome.
I think every time we meet, we continue to build our cult. So. Let's see how long it takes, and then we'll keep adding members. We'll see how many guys we can get to join our cult. We'll have guests on, the three of us, and see if we get I select for our next guest, like Aaron Idle. See if he'll join our cult. He's he's not a very strong guy mentally, so I think we could probably influence him pretty good, get him in there. Trevor Murdoch would be another good guy to get in there. Okay. He could actually do a lot of the maintenance for us. I think he's a welder, so we could use him to build, because we got to have walls. I mean, we're not a border here.
Yeah, we do.
We got to keep them out or keep them in, and then so we'll go from there. We'll keep looking and searching. Just guys on my short list that can't come in. Cody Rhodes is out. Sheamus is out. Big Show's a maybe. We'll see. But we got a pretty good list. Drew McIntyre in.
Yeah, Drew's okay with me. Yeah. Sheamus, you're out, fella.
Huh?
Sheamus, you're out, fella.
Yeah, you're out. Unless you tan.
Oh, shit.
EC3 is in. We can definitely get him. I'm actually going to
EC3's got his own cult. I'm not sure we want to cross. His cult's pretty serious. He's out there. He's out there. But
maybe we can get some tips from him,
yeah. Oh, yeah. We bring him in.
His branding is phenomenal. The whole control your narrative thing is genius.
Can you come to somebody else's cult and take notes? Like, hey, we're culting in a different location. We just want some friendly neighborhood culting tips. That's what? That's the high priest. That's your job.
We're a cult startup. We don't ask. We don't ask permission. We just do.
And we just make up the rules. We make up the rules as we go along. So
yeah, because our great Megalodon says, "Do unto others if they fit in your mouth."
That's exactly right. I mean, part of our theosophy or part of our ritual is that we do take from other cults and steal their shit.
Yeah, or face the see. I didn't even start drinking yet. This is great. Like we've got so many possibilities here, and we did this without weed, alcohol. We just did it together as a group. This is amazing.
Imagine the potential.
So, do we work? Is it a Megalodon goodbye? Like, how do we do this? Like, we got to figure this out. Is it the?
Yeah, I'll work on a plan. I'll get the logo.
Let's get it together.
The website going. We'll get the whole thing going.
You can skydive with a fin, right?
Oh yeah, I've done that before. I've done a jump in a Pikachu outfit. I also wore a shark costume once. I did this jump. Yeah, maybe that's something we'll get into eventually, and I'll show the little videos because I have gigs and gigs of footage that I've never shared with anybody.
Well, wait, hold on. How far are we away from you actually being healed this time?
Well, I got like 6 months to go, so it's going to be a little while. That's why I'm doing all this online stuff and researching and writing some stuff.
So you're going to be an effing genius on the keyboard pretty soon. All right, awesome. Well, there's our tech guy.
Well, you have to know with every cult, with every religion, you'd have to have some sort of cosmogony and something tied to the zodiac. So it is the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is a water.
I'm in. If it's water, I'm in.
And so is a megalodon. So it's sort of our time.
Yeah, I'm with it. All right.
What is the king of water? Leviathan's dead.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I
feel good about this.
I feel good about it too. We should end it right there. Let's brainstorm some ideas, and then next time we meet up, we'll come up with some cool stuff. Hey, Tyrus, is there anything you want to plug, man? I know everybody in the world knows who you are. Jeff actually said this to me yesterday. He goes, "Did you know that more people know who Tyrus is than HBK?" And I was like, "Huh, that's very interesting." And I thought about it, and it's true. I mean, you're on.
I'm not cross-eyed, and I can actually talk.
Yeah, and you're on a worldwide news show, like Fox is worldwide, and that's awesome. And I'm stoked to call you.
And to be fair, it's not his fault. No one's afraid of a super kick anymore either. So, super kick now is a high five.
Yeah, that's so true.
Headlock, takeover, feet up, super kick, swing and a miss, drop down, power bomb, plunge to the side, super kick, roll up, 1, 2, 3, new champ.
You missed 32 Canadian destroyers.
Yes, yeah. I feel proud that I don't care because I purposely never flew because I wanted to see the guys when Justin did it. It was amazing. If everyone else did it, it's boring.
Mm-hmm.
So, I only did it one time on Raw because I already knew I was in trouble, but I just did it just to do it. But yeah, you're 1,000% right. That's a whole other thing. Let's just stick. Maybe we can get, what? Wrestling shows in the occult will be old school storytelling. That for sure. Megalodon way. If it's our way.
That's the name of it already. Hey, do you have anything coming up? Is there anything you want to plug? I know
I've got my live shows all over the country. They're pretty much sold out. I do stand-up shows. I'll be all over. You can check it out on my Twitter feed, which is @PlanetTyrus verified. You just click my little link tree and see what tickets are available. Of course, you can always catch me at Fox, and I got a bunch of other stuff coming up. But whatever.
New book.
I'm here.
What about you got a new book coming?
So I'm working on. I decided to take a pause. Well, for one, both my books are still selling, so I'd be competing against myself, which is not weird. And I wanted to kind of wait to see how things pan out with this election, in terms of whether who wins or loses is really irrelevant, but just the way that people act towards each other. I'm really trying to take a look at trying to show what is the difference between, because we've been having a two-party system for a long time, but there's so much, we've gotten to this tribalism crap, and I'm just so curious to what happens to how we got there. Because, perfect example, Kevin Nash and I, we probably talk every other day on social media, every day, checking on each other. We all do the brother checks, and he couldn't be more Democrat. Kamala Harris ain't as much Democrat as Kevin Nash is. And I'm clearly a Republican. But it never comes up. We got so much other shit to talk about. No one gives a damn about who votes for who. And I think more people, that's how it should be. Voting who you vote for should not be who you are. And it's not. And it's silly. It's not a religion. It's not a sport. So I think and it'll probably be most people will say you're going against your brand. But I also think at some point you got to say enough's enough. I'm not judging a man based off what he votes. That's stupid.
Even more reason to start a cult so people can vote for us.
We're going to call it the Common Sense Megalodon. Just be cool. We'll be cool. Chill out cult. Yeah. You be you. I'll be me. And let's have fun.
I love that. Okay, we got a minute left. Jeff, can you take us home?
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Tyrus, legend, for joining us. We appreciate it. We're looking forward to future collaborations and cross-promotions and conversations. PJ, you are the spiritual leader in the face of the cult of the...
He's the guru.
The guru of the Grand Megalodon. We are going to stop the tribalism through the glory of the Megalodon. If anybody wants to follow me on X, I'm at Icarus Fell MD. PJ is at Dr. Black. If you want to follow the other Garden shows, I would love that. Garden of Doom and Garden Views. Just subscribe to Garden of Doom. You get all three of these shows, including Garden of Doom Presents The Book of Black. And this has been the Epic of Tyrus.
Now make sure you get me those links so I can get them out.
You sure will.
Welcome, brother. Thank you so much for doing it.
You will get a rush. So let's get it on.
Good.
All right, PJ, always my brother.
Appreciate you, man. Much love.
Nice meeting you, bro.
Nice meeting you.
Working with you again.
Love is but a song we sing, fears we will die. You can make the mountains ring, or make the angels cry. Though the when the one that left us here returns for us at last. We are but a moment's sunlight fading in the grass. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. If you hear the song I sing, you will understand. Listen. You hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both, it's there at your command. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together,